Welcome in, everybody. It is a Wednesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for Supernatural News and Parashare. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. We got a little bit of a different plan today. We're going to bring in our co-hostess. First of all, she's intelligent. She's witty. She's funny. She brings the funny. And she's pretty easy on the eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring her in. I forgot the fact that she's on the Hindustan Times bestseller list now for 2 months straight. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Jessica Freeburg. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Tim. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I believe I have a Parashare today, if I remember right.
Yay, those are my favorites.
Yes, I do have a Parashare. I think it's freshly in, too, from today. So we've got stories today. We do have a Parashare today. I was trying to remember why today's a little bit different. Oh, we have some mystery stories today. Not as many ghosty stories today.
All right, I like a good mystery.
Yeah, it's a little light on the ghosty stories today. I don't know why. I think the ghosts are sleeping this week. I don't know what
it's winter. It's cold. They just want it to be spring like the rest of us.
I think so. I think that's what it is. That's for sure. I know one thing. We're not shy on alien stories today. I know that much.
I like those too.
Yeah. So there you go. Let's jump into it, shall we? Okay, so with everything that's going on, normally we're not a political show, but with everything that's going on right now with the government and all types of, let's just say, tumultuous overturns in government and departments being gone through, one of the things that's been talked about is some restructuring in the FBI and in the CIA, to put it mildly. There's a story out there that as people are about to lose jobs in the FBI, that a secret FBI UFO research group has been disclosed amid Elon Musk trying to purge people out of the FBI. And
that's kind of exciting, actually.
It kind of is, although it might be a secret program that you don't necessarily want to unveil.
Are they getting rid of it then? Is that one of the ones they're axing?
Well, let's find out. Elon Musk's efforts to cut back on unnecessary spending has brought about the disclosure of a secretive FBI group. According to reports, FBI agents who have been tasked with investigating the UFO phenomenon are concerned that they could lose their jobs amid Elon Musk's efforts to save money by purging the U.S. government of departments and roles deemed to be unnecessary. The news comes as something of a surprise, as the existence of such a group within the FBI wasn't even officially recognized until now. I have spoken to several agents from the UAP working group who are afraid of losing their role and the investigation getting unintentionally compromised, said Ryan Graves, Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. I'm concerned that the FBI's UAP working group could be affected by transition changes, and these leaders might not be aware of the incredible work these agents are doing and how their investigation could be empowered as part of a formalized intergovernmental effort. The group in question is believed to consist of one program manager and at least a dozen employees. While we have no comment on any questions regarding FBI personnel matters, the FBI investigates unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, when there is potential for a violation of federal law, particularly unlawful acts that could adversely affect our national interests, and to gather, share, and analyze intelligence to combat security threats facing the U.S., the FBI said in a statement. Whether or not the UFO group actually will be disbanded, however, remains to be seen. Now, here's what I gather from that statement, and that's this, Jess. They're very careful about wording. So UAP could be anything. UAP could be unidentified aircraft coming out of a different country. It could be anything unseen in the sky or seen in the sky that crosses into our airspace that could be hostile, right?
Right.
It doesn't necessarily have to be alien.
Yeah. And with all of the drone sightings that people have been seeing, that is UAP.
That's right. So, although although President Trump came out and he said, no, we know all what that is, and we know that the previous administration signed off on that. I think that was a little bit of a cover just to get people to stop asking about it, right?
Okay.
But if there's this UAP working group within the FBI, that means that there's an active group working on aliens, and they claim that there's not been anyone working on the situation.
Right. I was going to say the same thing, Tim, because if they have a group in the FBI set aside specifically for this purpose, that tells us that they know there's a need for that because they have evidence of it. They wouldn't have that if it was just, purely speculation, I don't think.
Right. Now it's a small group, and it probably doesn't, depending on, well, I'll put it this way, depending on how much funding there is for it, I can't imagine that it's going to get run through. You hear a lot of the stuff that they're cutting right now, and it tends to be a lot of waste. A lot of the stuff that they're citing is a lot of waste.
Right.
I can't imagine that a UAP group would be considered waste, especially with what the president has said he is in his interest, which aliens are in his interest and in his wheelhouse, for lack of a better term. So
totally. And like we said, even anything in the sky that doesn't belong there, or we don't understand why it's there, coming from a foreign country or whatever the case may be, I think it makes sense to have a group investigating all of that, all of the above, aliens and just foreign interests coming in to observe us.
Now I could see something where, for cost-cutting measures, DOJ wouldn't just say, well, why can't we just hand some of this stuff off to private investigators, or why can't we just hand some of this stuff off to MUFON, or why can't we just hand some of this stuff off to someone other than the FBI? Because just in the interest of cost-cutting.
Right.
And get that out of government hands and into private hands. I mean, that's completely realistic, but I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is right now, to be honest with you.
It's hard to say. Do you think it's too late for us to join the FBI and be part of that group, though? We'd be so good at it.
That's true. I don't know. I think it is at this point. I think so. Yeah. If they're looking to get rid of.
We're too old.
No. It's not that we're too old. I think it's just when you look at the fact that they're looking to cut trillions of dollars right now.
Yeah.
Out of the government coffers. I think. I think.
Not going to add two more.
Yeah. They cut us faster than you could say boo. I don't think they're looking to add, and I don't know. I don't know what the agenda is, so I couldn't tell you. We'll find out, I guess.
I hope so.
We have to make an interesting pitch, Jess. Come up with an interesting pitch, and maybe we can get on.
I'm good at that. Ask my agent. I'm really good at interesting pitches.
All right. Well, make up an interesting pitch, and we'll get hired. That's all I can say. Our next story has to do with NASA sending spacecraft to investigate mysterious domes on the moon. Well, somebody's getting funding these days. I know that much. The mission will focus on solving the mystery of the Gruithuisen domes, which were first discovered in the 1800s. Over the years, there have been a number of controversial claims concerning anomalous features on the lunar surface. And while most of these have turned out to be little more than pareidolia, the Gruithuisen domes are very much the real deal. Originally discovered in the 19th century by Franz von Gruithuisen, these perplexing surface features have been described by scientists as one of the most enigmatic locations on the moon. While the domes are more likely to be naturally occurring geological phenomena as opposed to anything built by the extraterrestrials, their exact nature and origins continue to remain an enigma. Part of the reason these domes are so mysterious is that they appear to be a form of volcano that shouldn't technically exist at all on the moon due to the lack of certain resources. On Earth, Silicic volcanoes typically form in the presence of two ingredients, water and plate tectonics, the mission statement reads. But without those key ingredients on the moon, scientists are left to wonder, how did the Gruithuisen domes form? Now, in a renewed bid to solve the mystery once and for all, NASA will be launching a spacecraft, the Blue Ghost Mission 3, which will consist of an orbiter, a lander, and a rover. It is currently scheduled to launch in 2028. We are beginning to have actual hardware and are building our instruments, and now we know how we will get them deployed on the lunar surface and what our rover will look like, said Jessica Sunshine, a professor of astronomy and geology at the University of Maryland. We started as a concept and then figures in a proposal, is now amazingly really happening. Something about that sentence doesn't make sense. While the project has a lot of work to do, particularly as we integrate with Firefly, this marks a new exciting phase that gets us tantalizingly close to going from paper to the moon. So there you go. Got to find a reason to go back to the moon. I guess that's as good as any, right?
I would say. And I want to change my name to Jessica Sunshine. What a great name.
There you go. Jessica Sunshine. That is a good name, right?
It's really good. My maiden name was Winter.
That's right. It was.
Yeah.
Why did you change it?
I shouldn't have. Sometimes I think, that was such a cool name.
Why not hyphenate it? Why not go Jessica Winter Freeburg?
Now, if I could go back in time, Tim.
No time like the present, Jess.
I could change it back. It sounds like a lot of work.
It kind of is, but
I barely want to get my real ID.
I know. Well, I have my real ID. I decided to do it a couple of years ago.
That was smart. I kept putting it off. I know I have to go in with all my stuff and get it. It's not even time to renew my license. I should have done it last time I was in. Live and learn.
I thought all Minnesotans had to have it by the summer. Wasn't that the deal?
It's like May. Yeah, we have to have it by May.
Yeah. I did it a couple of years ago. Just when I was renewing my license, I just decided I was just gonna take the leap and do it.
Yeah, that was smart. You're smarter than me sometimes.
Oh, not really. No, no. I have a lot of dumb qualities to me. I've figured that out in my old age. I don't know why, but I just have. It's
just interesting.
Self-awareness, I think, is what it is. Yeah. Sometimes I'm dumb and stupid. Yep. Our next story. Boy, speaking of dumb and stupid, math. That's what I'm dumb and stupid at, because I can't figure out what our chances are exactly of this asteroid hitting us.
Oh, I hate asteroid hitting the stories.
Well, I have one here. Actually, the chances have gone up since the story was published. A 200-foot asteroid has a 1 in 83 chance of hitting us in 2032.
That's not that far away.
It isn't that far away. It's 7 years away.
Yeah.
But I think the chances went up to like 2 in 83. It's gone up a percentage point or something to that effect. The space rock has a high probability of an impact than any other, or higher impact than any other asteroid we've seen in recent years. Now, simply known as asteroid 2024 YR4, nobody can come up with a catchy name for an asteroid anymore. They can't call it.
That's what I'm going to change my name to, Tim.
That's right. 2024 YR4, which is catchier than Jessica Winter, I guess. I don't know. This otherwise unassuming space rock might not seem particularly notable, mainly because you have a stupid name for it. Like, how about asteroid disaster? That would work. Or
name it like the hurricanes. Name it Thelma.
How about you're all effed? That would be a great one. Or I don't know. The asteroid up your ass. That's a good one. Or this one's coming right up your asteroid. We don't remember that one. Yeah.
I like that one.
See? But people won't get creative. You know?
Throw some numbers at it and call it a name.
Yeah. Fastball up your asteroid. I don't remember that. Nobody seems to care, though. Nobody takes the time anymore, Jess, you know?
No, they don't. They're lazy. That's what the scientists are. They're lazy.
They're lazy. That's right. They're like, well, we have too many asteroids to name. Well, how come the companies that make the little star charts that you can buy for like $99.99 for a loved one, they come up with names?
Well, yeah, and at least name the ones that are probably, definitely, maybe going to kill us.
Yeah. Well, name those. You know? Yeah. Here comes Fatal Frank. Here he comes. He's coming to kill us. See, I just made that up in 2 seconds.
They should hire you.
They should, but they won't. So, asteroid 2024 YR4, horrible name. Not particularly notable, but there's a very real, albeit small, chance that it will collide with the Earth in 7 years' time. At present, scientists estimate that it has a 1 in 83 chance of impacting our planet in the year 2032. It was discovered last Christmas, but nobody wanted to ruin the holiday by Arizona's Catalina Sky Survey, and was described as having one of the highest probabilities of an impact from a significantly sized rock ever. They had to throw the ever in there to make it more impactful, I guess. Get it? Impactful asteroid hitting the Earth. See what I did there?
So witty.
I try. The potential risk corridor for a collision places the impact site in a region of the world stretching from South America to Central Africa and is also into India, but this could change over time. So the people in those areas are absolutely effed. I mean,
you're just going to disintegrate. You're not even going to know what hit you. That's the good news.
Well, or it's going to be one of those things where you're going to get a neck injury and it totally just going to have to live with it for the rest of your life.
That would be worse. I'd rather just be obliterated.
Right. Yeah, I know. Now, while 1 in 83 may sound like a relatively high probability, however, it is likely that as the asteroid approaches and astronomers can better track its trajectory, these odds will change so that the risk of a collision will reduce exponentially. Even now, these odds represent a mere 1.2% chance of an impact. Now, those have gone up to 2.3%, I believe, since this article came out. So, dude, 2.3%. Are you shaking in your boots yet?
Do we have a better chance of winning the lottery?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
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 I think we're going to be okay, Tim.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, even NASA's director of the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies, Paul Chodas, told the AP, this is most likely not something you'll ever need to worry about. Yet there's articles about it.
Just put the articles out so those of us with extreme anxiety can just fret over this for the next 7 years.
Yeah. You'll see more articles about it. The chance went up to 2.4%. You know. So, yeah, I saw an updated article earlier today, but I'm like, the original's bad enough. We don't need to update. But I figured I'd throw it in there that the chance went up. I don't know what makes a chance of it go up. I mean, I don't know if it moved 4 centimeters closer to us or whatever it was, but something made it go up.
I wonder how they calculate such things.
I think it's just trajectory, speed. Yeah, there's other factors.
There's mathematical equations involved. I can feel it.
Yeah, and math is hard, right?
It gives me a headache.
Yeah,
a little cramp in my brain just talking about it.
It's not for everybody. In fact, it's not for most people. Just saying, math is for mathers. Just saying. Our next story has to do with, again, more scientists. They're stunned as Perseverance uncovered something unlike anything ever seen before on Mars. NASA's Perseverance rover has just made a mysterious discovery on Mars, and scientists are calling it unlike anything ever seen before on the red planet, found in an ancient region believed to hold clues on Mars' distant past. This unexpected find could reshape what we know about the planet's history and even its potential for life. NASA's Perseverance rover has uncovered something never before seen on Mars, a find that could offer a rare glimpse into the red planet's ancient past. The discovery was made in Jezero Crater, a site that was once home to a massive river delta and may have held liquid water billions of years ago. Scientists have long believed that this region could contain some of the oldest and most well-preserved geological records of Mars history. Now, Perseverance's latest sample, dubbed Silver Mountain, is raising new questions about the early days of Mars. Unlike any sample that the rover collected before, the mysterious find is already being hailed as one of the most scientifically valuable pieces of Martian material ever obtained. NASA researchers believe it could help unlock the secrets of Mars formation, evolution, and even its potential for past life. NASA confirmed that Silver Mountain is Perseverance's 26th sample, but what makes it stand out is its unusual texture and composition. The rover itself even acknowledged the significance of the find with its official X account posting. May 26th sample, known as Silver Mountain, has textures unlike anything we've seen before. Scientists believe that these rocks are not just another set of Martian stones. They may be fragments of the earliest Martian crust, material that has remained unchanged for billions of years. If confirmed, this could mean that Silver Mountain is among the oldest rocks found anywhere in the solar system. So there you go. Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And finally, before we go to break, UFO enthusiasm has surged in Japan and now has renewed interest. Communities across Japan have recently been seeing a resurgent interest in the UFO phenomena there. Recent interest in UFOs in the United States has sparked something of a surge of interest elsewhere in the world, with Japan in particular enjoying renewed enthusiasm for anything and everything to do with unidentified flying objects. For instance, in Hakui Ishikawa Prefecture, also known as a town of UFOs, a recent UFO event at the local space museum was attended by some 2,000 people, a considerable spike in attendance for the attraction, which once had suffered a reduction in visitor numbers following a recent earthquake. Meanwhile, a UFO research institute set up in the city of Fukushima has been at the center of an annual festival that has seen visitor numbers exceed 5,000 in recent years. All across Japan, UFO-themed events have been used as a part of regional revitalization strategies, and there is even a nonpartisan parliamentary group focused on UAP research. There have also been calls to set up a dedicated agency for such investigations. This trend may reflect a sense of social anxiety, said planetary scientist Yunya Terazono of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA. With military conflicts and geopolitical tensions, such as Russia's invasion of Ukraine and clashes occurring throughout the Middle East, the public is likely feeling uneasy about what may lurk above. There's this growing sense of tension and curiosity. Perhaps we are starting to wonder if something might come flying our way, is what Terazono was quoted as saying. So there you go. So Japan is more into UFOs now.
Well, good. We all need to be keeping an eye out for things flying our way.
Absolutely. Especially asteroids. Just saying.
Yeah, no kidding. That's going to kill us all if it hits anywhere.
Well,
destroy the ecosystem. It's going to,
1 in 83 chance, Jess. We're good. We're good. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, how do you feel about surgeons operating on you from a different country, all through AI?
Oh, no, thank you. I was good with everything until you threw AI in there.
Maybe your surgeon might make a little oopsie from somewhere in Sweden. Just saying, it could happen. We'll talk about it when we come back. We've got interesting stories coming up in the next part of our show, including, oh boy, do we have an interesting paranormal story. A man killed his wife after a paranormal meter sparked fear that she would eat him. Yeah, that's a doozy, Jess. I could see the look on your face on that one. That's an interesting one. An anonymous, I'll get the name down, or the word down. An anonymous investor is funding a permanent underwater human colony. We'll tell you about that in the second part of our program today. In interesting news, a medieval toilet leads to the discovery of an Anglo-Saxon king's long-lost palace. An interesting deal at that. And your palate cleanser today has to do with the interesting things you can find right in your own backyard. That's a little bit of a tease for that as well. So there you go. That is what is in store today in Supernatural News and Parashare. And yes, we have a Parashare today. So we'll talk about that as well. That's coming up here after the break. It's a Supernatural News and Parashare Wednesday right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. It's Tim Dennis and Jessica Freeburg on Darkness Radio. Welcome back to the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio on a Wednesday. Supernatural News, Parashare, Tim Dennis, Jessica Freeburg. Jess, I gotta tell you, Super Bowl weekends didn't make me too excited. I gotta tell you, it was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, could have been a more exciting game.
Yeah. A little bit of a letdown. It was a letdown with the. We had talked about it yesterday. A little bit of a letdown with the boards, with the number boards, with the gambling. A little bit of a letdown with the game. A letdown in general, I think.
How was the food? Was the food good?
Oh, the food was amazing.
There you go. That was my favorite part.
My sister actually put on a little bit of a New Orleans spread. So we had gumbo and we had. She made Big Mac sliders.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, but we had gumbo. We had a whole smattering of stuff. But we had Cafe du Monde coffee. We had chicory coffee from Cafe du Monde. That was good. Yeah, so we had a little taste of New Orleans. So
there you go. There's your bright spot.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, we had King's cake. So yeah, we had we had some good stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it was that was a bright spot. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. Well, weirdly, we had Chinese food. I don't know why. But that's what my mom wanted, and mom gets what she wants. So we were like, yeah, we're all in on the Chinese. So
yeah,
sushi, cashew chicken, egg rolls, pot stickers.
There's nothing wrong with that, I guess,
What that has to do with the Super Bowl, I don't know, but I ate it and I loved it.
It's fast, it's easy. I guess whatever it takes to make you happy, it's just, oh God, I said the word, I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that word. It's just whenever I say it, AI comes in and they hate it when you're happy, I was trying to downplay it.
It has to be happy.
I know, it's the whole happy thing. Well, I suppose it's time now for AI news. We should probably get to it. Jess, I got to tell you, one of the things I've had plenty of in my life that I don't like to talk about either because it doesn't make me happy is surgeries. Yeah. I got another one I got to do this year sometime too. Not looking forward to it. The one thing I don't want my surgeon to be doing is operating on me from a different country. I prefer him to be in the room.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about, in this article, how surgeons could operate on you from a different country. I don't like this idea at all. It could be the new reality, though, that surgeons could be operating on you with a scalpel from halfway around the world. I don't like that reality. And it's a matter of years, it says here, as technology companies are looking to roll out 6G networks worldwide. According to a senior figure involved in its development, 6G's nanosecond fast speed could now make online surgeries possible for the first time. What will make 6G unlike any other previous mobile networks in its latency, which is the time it takes for data to travel from a device to the network? Well, 6G is a game changer, says Greg Flack, the senior manager in networking and planning at tech company AWTG. AWTG were instrumental in the implementation of 5G across parts of the UK and are working alongside universities in the testing of 6G. Flack added that 6G will be 10 times faster than 5G and have 50 times lower latency. 6G will be as close to real time as you can get, as the latency will be nanoseconds compared to the 10 milliseconds it is with 5G. I gotta ask you, Jess, 6G. Are you ready for 6G?
It all sounds wonderful until it drops the call or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
You can't be like performing heart surgery and be like, can you hear me now?
Right. Right. So you're on the table and here's the doctor and he's in the middle of heart surgery, right? And then all of a sudden, psst, out goes the tech, right?
Yeah. It's going to happen. Technology is messed up. It just doesn't work all the time.
According to Flack, he says the results could be revolutionary for the health industry and could even lead to the very first online surgeries. He says the doctor is remote somewhere in India and doing the surgery in the U.S. with a robot. No. This requires no delay, he says. A surgeon will have to react in real time every single millisecond for machine-to-machine counts. That is why it is possible with 6G. I don't think we can replace real human doctors with robots.
No, and just because we can, like, let's say we get the technology figured out and we can, doesn't mean we should.
Right. I agree with you there. He also says the latency of 6G could also make automated or self-driving cars way safer because it would allow for faster decision-making and environmental analysis. I cringe thinking of that as well. Because I just see it. As it is right now, we're having a tough time with self-driving. There's all kinds of horror stories out there. So
yeah. It's not safe.
No. Says in order to transmit larger amounts of data, the frequency at which the data travels will have to be higher. The equipment needs to transmit this higher frequency, and it's yet to be manufactured. So the equipment hasn't caught up to what 6G would be able to do. So everything needs an upgrade. So it's a little bit of a pipe dream, but they are working on the actual frequency being upgraded. So
they should use those smarts for something else.
Well, I mean, eventually we're going to get there. I can see where 6G would be. I mean, it'd be a fun little toy, right? And if you can imagine the things you could do with 6G, my only thing is with that, if you remember all the hubbub about 5G, when 5G came about, people had conspiracy theories about the towers and what they were doing to people's health and things like that.
Right. Yeah.
You can imagine what came with that, what's going to come with 6G towers, I'm sure. I mean, people are going to lose their minds. That's all there is about that. Okay. Meanwhile, as it turns out, Gen Z and their retirement is going to have everything to do with robot helpers and VR movie nights. Turns out that their retirement, Jess, is going to have everything to do with AI. It's kind of a sad vision, isn't it, for their retirement?
Kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, no sitting out on the porch and enjoying nature with a good book.
No, just sitting in your dark room with a virtual reality eye mask thing on.
Yeah. New study has revealed that despite financial concerns, younger generations have a bold and vibrant vision for their retirement years, complete with a high-tech twist. A whopping 70% of Gen Z and millennials are anxious about their ability to retire comfortably, with 69% expecting to work beyond their traditional retirement age, according to new research. But despite these worries, at least younger Brits have shared what they believe their retirement would look like. Skipton Building Society used its study as the foundation of creating these AI-generated images to bring to life how younger generations envision their golden years. Younger Brits imagine their retirement years will be fueled by sustainable technology, eco-friendly communities. A quarter pictured ocean-based communities and green energy-powered residences. Modern conveniences such as robotic helpers and automated lifestyles also scored highly on their wish lists. Some shared that they looked forward to joining book clubs or cultivating their own vegetables, while others are eager to continue trends from their youth. 16% even aspire to keep producing TikTok content. Why, that's ambitious, thinking TikTok will still be around then. I mean, you know.
They'll still be doing their dances.
That's right. Still, my arthritis. The AI artwork also displays retirees with bold personal styles, brightly colored hair, tattoos, and smart clothing equipped with health trackers. Oh, bless her heart. They've got tattoos and bright colored hair when they're old.
Yeah, I love it. What a great vision.
Even though the tattoos are about 3 feet long on their droopy skin.
I did tell my friend when she got a rose on her chest, and she's kind of big chested. I was like, that is going to be a long stem rose eventually.
Yeah, it is. Well, the visions are exciting that Gen Z has had. The financial reality paints a different picture. According to the study, many younger adults are still unprepared for their retirement years. 31% feeling they're too young to worry about it. 25% reporting they don't earn enough to save for later life. Currently, 34% of respondents admit that they're focused more on immediate financial priorities, delaying any serious planning for retirement. However, the study did highlight some positive progress. 46% of participants are already managing their workplace pensions, and 43% have opened ISAs to save for additional funds, or to save additional funds. In addition, 36% are using stocks and shares, 25% are chipping into lifetime ISA. Positively, 60% of participants plan to boost their pension contributions within the next 5 years. So there you go. But they're also probably, playing video games. So. Take it for it.
So they don't need as much money because they don't have to travel.
That's
They're
right.
just going to put on their little IR and
they'll go to different countries.
Be somewhere fancy.
That's right. That's right. All right. I have a disturbing story for you here, Jess. As a paranormal investigator, this is absolutely going to chill you. A man killed his wife after a paranormal meter sparked fear that she would eat him.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how you sit down with a K2 meter and decide that this thing is telling you that your wife is going to eat you.
What?
Let's get to this story because this is just bizarre. The bizarre incident saw the man shoot his wife after he became convinced that his life was in danger. In what is surely one of the strangest court cases we've seen in a while, the accused 46-year-old Jared Wolf is facing 7 charges, including first-degree murder, carrying a firearm without a license, and aggravated assault. According to court documents, the strangeness began when Wolf decided to use a K2 meter to check a statue at his friend's house for paranormal activity. A statue. And was spooked when it picked up an unexpectedly high reading. This prompted him to descend into a spiraling state of anxiety and paranoia. Wolf stated that he thought that his wife, Jane White, and the friends were all trying to kill him and eat him. So he panicked and ran out of the house to retrieve his handgun from his vehicle. This according to police officer Trey Kurtz in his written arrest affidavit. Once at the car, he grabbed the weapon and loaded a live round into the chamber. When his wife came outside and opened the passenger door, Wolf turned and fired the gun. Sadly, her injuries were too severe and the paramedics were unable to save her. After the shooting, Wolf panicked and drove to his brother's house, who subsequently called the police. It remains unclear exactly what had placed him into such an extreme state of paranoia that he believed that his wife and friends were planning to eat him. Whatever the case, it is likely that he now faces a very lengthy prison sentence.
Yeah, sounds like a little schizophrenia or something. I mean, a K2 meter spike?
Yeah.
It's not even like that exciting.
No, well, it sounds like there's some mental illness going on there. That's for sure. Yeah, that's definitely.
That's sad.
Definitely, that's what, something is going on there. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, when we're ghost hunting together next time and there's a K2 spike, I promise I'm not planning to eat you.
Thank you. But you're not gonna shoot me either. I mean, is that also part of the deal? Okay.
Nope.
Thank you, because I just don't want to have to worry about anything there. That's for sure.
Unless it comes through on my Ovilus or something and says Tim's going to eat you, and then you're done.
Then you'll shoot me. Is that the deal? Appreciate that, Jess. I really do.
You're welcome. But I won't shoot you dead. I'll just shoot you in the knee or something.
Oh, take out my kneecaps.
Yeah, just.
I need them replaced anyway, so if you do me that favor,
I don't want to kill you. I just want to protect myself from being eaten, Tim.
Well, okay. If it's any consolation, Jess, I'm already on Manjaro, so I don't have that much of an appetite. It'd only be a small nibble.
Well, then I'm safe.
Yeah.
We don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'd only take a small bite out of you, and then
I don't eat meat, so you're safe. So
well, there you go.
Good.
We're good then. We don't have to worry about each other. So there you go. We have a Parashare for today. This one, I don't know if I dare say who it's from because they don't sign it. So you know what? I'm not going to say who it's from. It just says, "Hello, Mr. Tim Dennis."
Oh, salutations.
It's very formal.
I love it.
I have a Parashare incident that happened to some friends when we were extras in the movie Gettysburg. Interesting. As my friends were directed to their campsite at Gettysburg, they noticed a group of Union reenactment unit that was packing up. When asked why their unit was packing up, a Union reenactor stated that he had heard screams, moaning, crying, and yelling for 2 straight nights. And they were the 3rd Union reenactment group in a week to be at that campsite. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's group paid no mind and set up camp once the Union reenactors were gone. For 3 nights, my friend's group heard nothing at night. On the 4th day, a mutual friend whose specialty is the Battle of Gettysburg arrived and pulled out his maps at the battle. My friend's Confederate reenactment group was camped at the site of a Confederate field hospital. Everyone was very wary because a few of the reenactors thought the spirits of the Confederate dead didn't like Union reenactors camping on the site where some of them died. And that's our Parashare.
So fascinating. I feel like that whole area is just a capsule of like time slips. You hear so many people that encounter scenes from that time period, right? Like either on the field where they died or in some of the businesses or buildings that were turned into field hospitals. So fascinating.
Very, very.
Very cool one. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, he didn't sign it, so I don't know if I dare say who it was. But yeah, it was very interesting indeed. And in the time that I've investigated there, it never ceases to amaze me what you come up with in Gettysburg. It's like you said, Jess. I think you're right. I think part of it is time slips. I think the other part of it is there's such a strong residual energy from the damage done there. There's a lot of heavy stuff there.
Just so many lives cut.
Yeah.
So fast.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of heavy stuff there. That's for sure. Let's talk about another tragedy that has made the news this week. The Alaska Triangle claims 10 more victims after a missing plane is found. The Bering Air Flight had recently been reported missing in a region notorious for unexplained disappearances. The alarm was raised when the small commuter plane, which had been departed from, is it Unalakleet, I believe, to Nome at 2:38 p.m. on Thursday, failed to make it to its destination, sparking an extensive search and rescue operation lasting several days. Sadly, though, the search ended in tragedy when the wreckage of the plane was discovered earlier. It said earlier today, but I believe this was written. Yeah, this was written 2 days ago. So it was just a couple days ago. Approximately 34 miles southeast of Nome. It is believed that all 9 passengers and the pilot were killed in the crash. This, however, is by no means the first such disaster to strike the region. Since 1972, the area between Anchorage, Juneau, and I'm not even going to pretend I know how to pronounce that. Often referred to as the Alaska Triangle, has allegedly seen the disappearances of over 20,000 people. In many ways, this echoes the more famous Bermuda Triangle, a region in which planes are said to disappear without a trace and where crashes and disasters are disproportionately commonplace. One of the most notable disappearances to occur within the Alaskan Triangle was that of House Majority Leader Hale Boggs and Congressman Nick Begich, who had been flying from Anchorage to Juneau in 1972 when their plane vanished and was never seen or heard from again. Other disappearances include that of 25-year-old Gary Frank Southerden, who went missing during a hunting trip, Joseph Balderas, who vanished in 2016, and Florence, I believe it is Okpiluk, who disappeared in 2020. According to reports, over 2,000 people go missing in the region every year. That's quite a bit.
That's crazy.
In all likelihood, the remote nature of the area, coupled with the challenging weather and terrain, are likely to be the primary suspects in this ongoing phenomena. But still, 2,000 people a year.
Never go there. Why would you go there?
Well, because it's wonderful terrain and quite pretty. But
no, thank you.
But other than that, same reason you go to the Bermuda Triangle, I guess.
That's crazy. I'll just walk around the lakes up by the city. I don't mind the smog.
I don't mind the smog, and I can find my way home. Yeah, that's bizarre. A 9,000-year-old six-fingered shaman woman has been discovered near Jerusalem. In our next story, excavations near the Israeli capital have unearthed one of the most unusual Neolithic finds in recent years, dating back some 9,000 years. The find, which was made at the Matzah archaeological site in the hills of Jerusalem, consists of a tomb containing the remains of a very unique individual. Believed to be female, the skeleton is that of a shaman with the unusual trait of having 6 fingers, a physical characteristic that at the time was often associated with distinction and spiritual authority. The woman was over 15 years old at the time of her death and had been laid to rest with an abundance of funerary objects, including green stone and mother-of-pearl necklaces. The tomb also contained stone bracelets and pendants, as well as beads made from exotic materials. Historical research indicates that the children of the time wore stone bracelets until they reached adolescence, after which they would participate in an initiation ceremony. If the child died before reaching maturity, they would be buried with the bracelets still on their arms. It is thought that this might have been the case in this case. The discovery of the ancient shaman's tomb in Matzah opens a window to the spiritual world of communities that lived approximately 10,000 years ago, said Eli Escozido, who is director of the Israel Antiquities Authority. These remains show how complex and rich the cultural beliefs of ancient humanity were, according to Escozido. So there you go. All right, getting down to the last couple of stories here for Supernatural News. An anonymous investor is funding a permanent underwater human colony. The project is designed to pave the way toward a sustainable human settlement beneath the surface of the sea. Fans of the BioShock video game series might be familiar with Rapture, a fictional underwater utopia that was impressive from a technical point of view, but failed miserably on a societal level. Now an anonymous investor is spending hundreds of millions to make the dream of a permanent underwater settlement a reality, and it all starts in a flooded quarry nestled in the British countryside. Known as the Deep Project, the endeavor, currently based in Gloucestershire, aims to increase understanding of the ocean and its critical role for humanity. At the moment, the flooded quarry is being used to test out habitable underwater modules known as Sentinels, as well as the underwater vehicles and infrastructure needed to access and run them. The plan will be to lower several of these modules to the ocean in the near future in order to establish a sustainable human settlement in which people will be able to live, sleep, work, and eat. Initially, people will only be staying in them for up to 28 days at a time, but the goal is to extend this considerably, eventually enabling humans to live their entire lives under the sea. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about the project is its mysterious benefactor, an individual who continues to remain completely anonymous, but who seems happy to invest nine-figure sums into making this particular vision a reality as soon as possible. And the question is it a well-known figure? I don't know, Jess, 28 days under the sea, your entire life under the sea. Could you do any of it under the sea?
It sounds like a horror movie.
It does, doesn't it? I think of every nightmare movie I've ever thought of or anything that's ever potentially creeped me out has happened under the sea where you can't escape or you will be crushed to death or eaten by sharks.
Yeah, I don't like it. And what if it cracks?
Yes.
And the water starts coming in? You're not getting out. And drowning is like one of my worst nightmares. I can't imagine. Oh, no.
Yeah. I don't see anything good about that whatsoever. Our next story, collectors of a highly prized fungus are dodging lightning on a daily basis.
A highly prized fungus? This is like a fancy, athlete's foot or jock itch?
It kind of sounds like it, doesn't it? It's a little bit of a lengthy article, so I'm going to hit the highlights here, and then I'm going to post it so you can read more in depth about it. But essentially, in China, those who collect a rare and expensive fungus for a living are at constant risk of bolts from the blue. In the remote Qinghai Tibetan Plateau, a rare fungus grows inside dead caterpillars. In traditional Chinese medicine, this parasitic fungus is prized for its purported medicinal effects. Known as, oh my gosh, that is a word, Ophiocordyceps sinensis. I can't say that word either.
There's more to it than that?
Yes. Caterpillar fungus or Himalayan gold. It can fetch astronomical prices on the herbal medicine market. In fact, it gets up to $63,000 per pound.
What do you do with it? That's crazy.
Well, Ophiocordyceps sinensis fungus is a parasite that targets the caterpillar, and that is the larva of the ghost moth. The process begins in late summer to early fall when fungal spores infect the caterpillars. Over time, fungal filaments called mycelia slowly spread out and consume the caterpillars from within, turning them into hardened, mummified shells by winter. When spring arrives, the fungus centers on its final stage, which is a grass-like fruiting body which sprouts from the preserved caterpillar's head and pushes up through the soil. So far, it sounds very morbid.
This is like another horror movie.
Yeah. Well, many traditional Chinese herbal medicine consumers are drawn to the fungus for its supposed health benefits. The interest lies in a darker side of its harvest, the deadly relationship between caterpillar fungus collection and lightning strikes.
How are these two things related?
Well, let's skip ahead a little bit and find out. Now, they go on a little bit and talk about how you gather up the fungus. The weather changes in an instant, and there's quite a bit of meteorological activity in China. It says here that caterpillar fungus hunting has led to 31 lightning-related deaths and another 58 lightning-related injuries in the past decade. That according to yearbooks of Chinese meteorological hazards and government websites. In May of 2022, 7 villagers from China, including a young child, were killed by lightning while harvesting the fungus. The following year, 3 people from Nepal were injured by lightning while collecting the fungus and had to be rescued by helicopter after spending days stranded in the mountains. It sounds like people are so focused, Jess, on trying to find this fungus that they go out into the woods searching for it, and they don't want to give up because it's worth so much money. So they go out there to look for it, and they get hit by lightning.
Wow. Oh, that's not a way I want to go.
No.
Hunting for parasitic caterpillar carcasses.
That's right. It says essentially that in the fungus collection hotspots of Yushu and Garza counties, located in the Sichuan province of China, it's staggering, 10 to 20 times higher than the already elevated rates in China overall. The numbers are on par with some of the most lightning-prone regions of Africa, where there is little lightning-safe infrastructure of safety education. So your chances of being hit by lightning are 10 to 20 times higher in this area of China. Just looking for caterpillar carcasses.
It seems crazy.
But people are out there traipsing around. I'll post the entire
they want the money.
I'll post the entire article so you can read more about it. It's very strange. That's for sure. Very strange. All right. Last story and then our palate cleanser. This is a little bit of a weird cleanser, so to speak. A medieval toilet leads to the discovery of an Anglo-Saxon king's long-lost palace. I know. It's been a weird week. One type of medieval throne has helped archaeologists, listen to me, Jess, Jesus. Archaeologists discover the whereabouts of another, the location of the palace of King Harold II, Britain's last Anglo-Saxon king, who was killed at the Battle of Hastings in 1066, had remained something of an enigma, but now thanks to a new investigation using data from a rather unlikely source, its whereabouts have been found at last. To find it, archaeologists combined ground-penetrating radar with data from earlier excavations and artwork dating back to the 11th century to pinpoint the location of his palace complex. Particularly notable was data collected from a detailed analysis of a medieval en-suite toilet, something typically only associated with individuals of high social status. The findings indicated that Harold's estate likely now is the site of the village of Bosham near Chichester, West Sussex, and that the remains may lie beneath the local church. This contradicts earlier beliefs that his remains were buried at Waltham Abbey in Essex. Looking at all the evidence, that is beyond reasonable doubt that we have now identified the location of King Harold's main power center, the one famously depicted on the Bayeux Tapestry, said Dr. Duncan Wright, senior lecturer in medieval archaeology at Newcastle University. It just goes to show that while it may not be on par with anything that you've seen in an Indiana Jones movie, even an old toilet can lead to the location of important archaeological discoveries. So there you go. One throne leads to a king. And finally, what is in your backyard may not exactly be treasure. It may just be trash.
I have a lot of dog poop in my backyard right now. Does that count?
Well, that could be one man's treasure. This, however, I'll guarantee you for one Australian man is just trash. An Australian man was horrified to discover that he has 102 snakes living in his yard.
Oh, no.
And while venomous, the bite of a red-bellied black snake isn't thought to be deadly.
From one nightmare to the next, Tim.
That's right. Here's how he found out, Jess. An Australian man's recent discovery of snakes in his backyard turned out to be more than he bargained for. Local animal wranglers reported retrieving over 100 venomous red-bellied black snakes from the man's premises.
That's crazy.
That's a pest problem. I'll tell you that much.
Infested.
Corey Kirawaro, the owner of Reptile Relocation Sydney, detailed the scaly tale on his company's Facebook page earlier this week. According to the post, David Stein called for the company's help after he spotted what seemed to be 6 of these snakes slithering into a large mulch pile on his property in western Sydney. It proved to be a vast underestimate. Thankfully, the reptiles were safely removed and relocated with no issue. Red-bellied black snakes are native to Australia, their range typically extending along the eastern coast of the country. But while they are commonly encountered by people, this particular sighting was still plenty unusual. As it turns out, the snakes on Stein's property were getting ready to give birth, just as he called the reptile relocators. Yes.
Oh, no.
The 100 snakes were about to be more.
Oh.
Stein's property were getting, the snakes were ovoviviparous, I believe, I think that's how you pronounce it, meaning they give live birth to young that are kept in eggs within their body. So by the time Kirawaro's snake catcher, Dylan Cooper, was sent to the property, the snake's numbers had already begun to explode.
Just light a match, set it on fire, burn his whole house down.
Cooper, Stein, and Stein's son initially wrangled 40 snakes from the mulch pile, only to have 4 of the adults start having their own kids on the way to being relocated. The team recovered 5 adults and a whopping 97 babies, making 102 snakes in total.
This is horrifying.
Kirawaro posted a video on Facebook showing all the snakes gathered together. The quantity is a shock. We do have red belly snakes in our backyard. You'll see one slither away into a creek, but not a big deal, Stein told The Guardian Thursday. Red belly black snakes are venomous, and Stein's dog was unfortunately bitten by a juvenile snake in December. Their bites are painful and can often cause other systematic symptoms like nausea, vomiting, and headache, but they generally shy away from humans and are unlikely to bite unless provoked. They are also less venomous than other commonly seen snakes in the region. And no recorded human deaths seem to have been linked to their bite. In accordance with local law, the maternity den of snakes was safely relocated. So they're able to breed bigly.
I don't think we need to relocate them. Just be done with them.
They were safely relocated to a remote area not too far away from Stein's home so they can come back, Jess, like a bad horror movie. And Kirawaro had already gotten in touch with snake researchers interested in their discovery. Finding 102 of these snakes at once is certainly a company record for him, and it may very well be a record scientifically, too. Kirawaro has also promised to release more high-quality images and videos of the snakes. Like, you need that for more nightmare fuel.
That's insane.
Yeah, so there you go.
Was that the palate cleanser?
That was the palate cleanser.
Oh, boy.
Hey, every once in a while, you can't end on a happy ending every week. Every once in a while, we need a little something to shock you.
Snakes are not my favorite. That actually reminds me of the new Stephen King short story book, and it has a short story in there, and it's all about rattlesnakes, and it features the main dad from Cujo. It's like fast forward to where the dad in the Cujo movie is now an older man, and it's all of these rattlesnakes, very similar to this. That was the scariest story in the whole book.
Well, there you go. Sometimes we got to traumatize you at the end of the show.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jess. Yeah. So with that, what is going on at jessicafreeburg.com?
Really just books are available if you guys are interested in them. I know sometimes people will reach out wanting to know if they can get one that's signed. I am ordering some that I can sign and then mail to people, and you can just Venmo me directly for that. If you want to get a signed one, that's probably the best way to do that. But no events right now, just kind of taking it easy right now in the winter months and, kind of hibernating and waiting for it to turn into spring.
See what you did there, winter months. Just kidding. Awesome. Very cool. And of course, you're still working on getting dates firmed up for trips.
Yes. We have one that is going to be announced pretty soon. It's in December, though. So It's a little ways out, but we're announcing it early.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. As far as we go here on this show, executive producer for today's program is Troy Palmer. We want to thank Troy for everything he does. Check out the store, please, at darknessradioshow.com. Support the show here. Support everything we do here on the show and pick up some swag over there at the store at darknessradioshow.com and the store section. our YouTube channel. If you're not watching us on video right now, if you're listening to this podcast by audio, check out the video of the show by going to our YouTube page and subscribe. Be a subscriber. You can do so by finding the original Darkness Radio on YouTube or just youtube.com/@drtimdennis. So there you go. What else, Jess? Real quick here. Oh, the Apple app. If you have an Apple device, there's a Darkness Radio app. It's real simple. Just go to the Apple Store and search Darkness Radio. You'll pull up the Apple app. If you have it and you haven't updated it lately, just do so. Go ahead and update it. It's been updated recently with all the changes with iOS 18. So there you go. That'll do it. That'll do it for today's show. Tomorrow on the big program, Jess, we're talking a little bit about the Defense Department and aliens.
Ooh,
How do you like
that's going to be a good one.
Yeah. So there is a new book out there, and it is a fictional book, but it actually draws upon the latest stuff and the latest, but when I say latest stuff, I'm talking about the latest controversies between the Defense Department and aliens and even the hearings that have been going on Capitol Hill. And my guest tomorrow is a gentleman by the name of Paul Vecchiet, who has previous experience in the Defense Department. He's written a new book that draws on his Department of Defense experience and draws not only on that experience, but also crafts a story that answers different questions having to do with the existence of aliens, what the Department of Defense does with certain aliens, and even peels back the curtain a little bit on what happens in the government. So we're going to talk to him about a lot of those issues tomorrow here on the show.
So cool.
Yeah. So Paul Vecchiet is my guest tomorrow. Pretty cool.
I'll be listening to that.
Yeah. So that's what's on tap for this week. And got a lot of interesting shows coming up down the pike here as we head down the road towards March. Yeah. This spring is going to be an interesting spring. That's for sure.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So we got good shows coming up. All right. So that'll do it for today. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in today. For Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Again, if you'd like to be an executive producer of the show, contact me, tim@darknessradio.com. We'll see you tomorrow for Paul Vecchiet, Aliens and the Government. It's tomorrow right here on the best in paranormal podcasting. This is Darkness Radio.